you okay?
I had it.
Sure you did. We need to make sure we stay together from now on.
Will you stop telling me what to do?
I just finished watching the first season of Shera and the Princesses of Power, and to be honest, it was pretty sloppy written. While watching it, I didn't really know how I felt about the show. However, my genuine confusion lasted up until I watched the episode 11 called Promise. The episode that managed to completely change my perspective on the show, and furthermore made me fall in love with Shera. Promise is not just the best episode of the first season, and potentially one of the best in the entire show, it is also one of the most well-composed episodes of any show that I have ever seen. The show has an abundance of amazing characters from both sides, the Rebellion and the Horde, and I am very interested in discovering more about each of those characters, because they all, without a doubt, have something truly unique to offer. But it is quite obvious that the core of Shera, the heart if you will, is Adora and Ketra, their complicated relationship and character dynamics. Promise gives us it all. It allows us as viewers to take our first profound look at the relationship between Ketra and Adora. It allows us to see how it started from the very beginning. The first episode of the show gives us an idea about Ketra's position in the Horde. We see that other Horde soldiers treat her with neglect and even derision that they don't even try to conceal and mask. Especially Shadow Weaver, who is pretty open about her treatment of Ketra. Ketra is clearly not treated fairly in the Horde. Promise allows us to dive into Ketra's childhood. She has pretty much always been abused by Shadow Weaver, who only viewed Ketra as a disobedient brat and an obstacle on the path of Adora, who Shadow Weaver always cherished and trained to become a Force Captain. The friendship between Ketra and Adora has always been unequal. Adora had to defend Ketra before others, and especially before Shadow Weaver all the time. After so many years, it made Ketra feel emotionally attached to Adora. But in a very distorted way, their friendship turned into weird emotional dependency. Ketra felt like she didn't really belong among her own peers, and Adora was her only connection to the group. Ketra became addicted. She desperately needed Adora to feel like she wasn't ostracized, to feel like she still had a place. So, when Adora left the Horde, found the sword and became Shera, Ketra rushed to bring Adora back as soon as possible, so she, Ketra, would feel safe again. However, being promoted to the Force Captain by Horde himself and becoming sort of friends with Scorpia made Ketra realize that all this time she was in such an emotional trap of being so dependent on one specific person. And now that Adora is gone, Ketra can finally break out of her emotional pit. Now that Adora is gone, Ketra can finally set herself free, and she doesn't even need to obey Shadow Weaver anymore, the very woman behind most of Ketra's insecurities. We see this all in just 22 minutes of the episode. Promise sets up an interesting conflict between Ketra and Adora, the conflict that defines the entire show. And this is brilliancy of the episode Promise. I haven't expected to be so emotionally shaken by it. The first episodes of Shera had great moments for sure, but were awkwardly written. Promise changed everything to me and made me fall in love with this fascinating show. Now I expect a lot from the rest of Shera, because what was established in the first season is great and highly intriguing. Not just the relationship between Ketra and Adora, but also between Ketra and Shadow Weaver, which is also, I believe, an important part of the plot. I am sure that I am not gonna be disappointed.